you how to price your creative services. I'll be showing you a few strategies you can use to profitably price your creative services. So if you're a graphic designer, motion designer, writer, um, whatever, as long as you offer creative services, I'm going to show you how to price your service. I'm going to show you a method. I'm also going to give you spreadsheets for you to use a methodological way. All right, so let's get into it. Briefly about myself. Hi, my name is Olatomide. So I'm not going to read all of these because this is an excerpt from a presentation I had with an organization. So over half a decade now, I've been a designer. I was a designer. I focus especially more on creating brand designs. Then I do a little bit of motion design because essentially I'm fascinated by marketing. I also founded a design studio. I should put the name here. Trivial Studio. Okay, so the studio, the agency can run without me. That's all you need to do. We offer design services, and the agency can run without me because I have amazing team, amazing consultants on board. Additionally, I funded or launched an online printing hub where we deliver premium prints to people wherever they are, and currently we have presence in 5 states across Nigeria, and we can serve every state in the federation. And also, we ship our prints outside the country, overseas. So presently, I'm embarking on a journey. I've transitioned to growth marketing full time this year. So this is like one of my retirement incentives to the community. So I look forward to creating more amazing content to help people document my journey, bring more people on board to share stuff. Before we proceed, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't do it later, do it right now. I'm going to share amazing content around documenting my previous stories in as a designer, of course, what can help people, bringing people on board to share stuff, and more importantly, creating content around business growth, growth strategy, growth hacking, marketing, and a bit of finance, since that's where I'm currently focused. So I'll be focusing on this first three pricing strategy. So we have cost plus pricing or cost based, either ways. We have value based pricing, we have dynamic pricing, penetration strategy pricing, we have bundle pricing. I'm not going to get here. Let me just tie it out. Then the decoy effect, I'm not going to get here there also. So I'm going to focus on these first three. If you want me to create content on this, just put it in the comment section. I will check and I will definitely create that. Then I will probably talk a bit about penetration pricing. All right, so let's get to it. I don't want this video to be so long and there's a lot to cover. So for cost plus, so for the record, I've freelanced, I've worked in at an organization. I also have an agency. So I'll try to ensure that this content balances something a freelancer can use and an agency can implement. Yeah. All right, so for cost plus pricing or cost-based pricing, it's a pricing strategy that basically the cost of the price, the selling price of a product or service is determined by adding a specific fixed percentage. So we call it markup percentage to the product unit cost. So that means you have to figure what the unit cost is to be able to put a markup percentage on the cost to get your selling price. I'll say that again. You figure out what the unit cost is, you put a markup percentage to get your selling price. The selling price is what you give to your client. So I have a spreadsheet that demonstrates how to do that. Okay, so let's say we want to offer a service to a client. So I've done this video before, that's why there are values there. So let's say, so I'm just going to change the value. Let's say we want to offer logo and branding service as a freelancer or as an agency. So utility would mean your data, your internet, and other utility bills. Water is also part of utility. You gotta bait, you know. So let's say, okay. So the first thing you need to decide is the service, then the duration of the service, 4 weeks. So you know that whatever cost here should factor the 4 weeks duration in. So for utility, how much is it going to cost for um, so this is a disclaimer. These figures are arbitrary. The services, everything is arbitrary. So I'm not saying this is how we do ours. I'm just saying let's work with some figures. You can find what works for you, use the sheets, get something out, and that makes sense. So 4 weeks, how much do we spend on utility? That's like a month. So let's say we put 25,000 for utility food. For 4 weeks, let's say we put 100,000. 100K. Depending on the team, how many people are going to work on the project. If it's going to be a solo project, what's it going to cost you to eat? Because you don't want to be working on a client's project and you are juggling side gigs so that you can feed yourself. So it has to factor your cost. Of course, you can spread the cost across other projects if you're going to be working simultaneously, but this is specifically for this project. All right, so shelter, how much does your rent cost? Your office rent, workspace, do you work from home or do you go to your workspace to rent? How much does it cost for 4 weeks? So let's say about 50K. 50 times 12, that's about 1,600. So that's like 600 in a year. If it's a million, just divide it and get the figure. So miscellaneous, unforeseen fees, or you order boats, the boat charge more, inflation came in, you can't meet client and say, oh my God, this is more expensive and stuff. So let's say we put, so we use a percentage for this, percentage of the cost you put in miscellaneous, but and sometimes you just leave it out. However, for the purpose of this, you just want to find a balance for freelancers and agency owners, business owners. So let's say we put 25K for this. Then IP, intellectual property, brains are going to do the work. So how much should the brain be compensated for? So sometimes we leave this out. Why sometimes you could have it there, depending on your strategy, the overall strategy behind the pricing. So let's say we put, so I won't put a figure here just for this purpose. The previous video I recorded, I actually put a figure, but the video was too long and I wasn't comfortable with it. So so that's why I'm speaking a little bit more faster here. For the cost, this is the cost for this project. This is the cost of execution. Now, what percentage profit are we looking at? Don't forget, you get a project unit cost, you put a markup percentage to get the selling price. So we want to get the selling price, which is the grand total. So what percentage are we looking at? If you do 100%, that means you give the client as 400K. You could do 50%, that means you give the client as 300K. So you could do 150%, depending on your profitability strategy. So I'll just leave it at 100%. And yeah, so if this increases, if the cost increases, the total will definitely increase. Do you understand? So even without for instance, at our agency, we've increased price only once 2024, and we didn't increase the markup profits. All we increased was the cost, and the price significantly went up. So that is basically how you get your cost. So if a client is asking for this service and you're satisfied with these requirements, please go ahead and give the clients this. So let's go to value based. Okay, so the next one is value-based pricing. So value-based is I like it a lot. So the pricing, the selling price of whatever product or service is determined by the perceived value or estimated value. So there's perceived value, there's the estimated value, which also is a product of perception sometimes, even though there can be some kind of metrics to arrive at that. So let's quickly run through that. So we're just going to use this that I used earlier for any service. So if it costs you 30K to produce a service, 30,000 naira. Oh, sorry, if you're not in Nigeria and you need to work with this sheet, go to formats, go to numbers, then choose your currency so that it's realigned with what is attainable there. So this video is targeted primarily towards Nigerian, Africans, and the rest of the world. Okay, so some of this, the cost price is 30K. So what markup are you looking for? So we put 150%, that's 45K for the markup, and we have 75K. However, if the client is perceiving this service to be worth 50K, charging 75K would not fly because the perception, so there's a rule of thumb, the perception should always be greater than the cost, greater or equals to, but the cost should never be greater than the perception. If you don't value iPhone at $1,000, you most likely will not pay $1,000 for iPhone. In fact, iPhone costs more than $1,000 depending on the one you're buying. So rule of thumb, ensure you ensure the perceived value is greater than the cost price, and you can actually influence the perceived value in your communications and all. So if the cost price is, so let's just increase. Okay, let's put IP here. I just want to increase this price significantly. Let's say I put about 400K. Cost should cover the 10. Okay, sorry, just a change here. Okay, so let's put 300, and I should make this. I didn't plan for this. Sorry, apologies for that. Okay, let's say this is 3. I want to keep it less than a million. Okay, we can leave it like this, then let's make the markup to be 80%. That would bring it less than a million. So if this is the cost and the client is perceiving for 500K, there's a problem because the perception should always be greater than the cost. So you either find a way to increase the perception. If you want me to create a video on that, please leave it in the comment section. We can have a conversation how you can increase the perception of something, or the clients go ahead to look. If it's an agency, the clients could go ahead to look for somebody else that charges what the perceived value is. All right, so let's get to the next one. Okay, so I need to show you something. So this is usually the cost, the markup. If it's fashion, is about 150%. Some industries, like industry standard, you could have 25%. That's for the markup cost, markup profit, markup percentage, interchangeably. So this is the cost plus. The value base is usually more than this. So you can see that this value base factor the cost of the item, the markup. Now there's not a perceived value. So everything gives the value based. So yeah, I love this strategy actually. All right, so there's dynamic pricing. This is the third and the last emphasis. I'll just touch penetration and that's it. So for this pricing strategy, which they also call surge pricing, demand pricing, time-based pricing, essentially, in summary, in layman language, the price is not usually fixed. The price fluctuates based on market demand. And this is usually popular. This is very popular in flight trips. So if you want to offer order for flights and you book a month ahead, let's say you get it at 500k. If you are booking a week ahead, you're getting like, let's say 700k. If you are booking 2 days ahead, you can get like over a million. So, and also I see creative use this for service, for express services. Express means you want it faster, something like that. I think express is actually like a street language. So I'm just going to demonstrate that. So for dynamic pricing, there are already prices here. So let's say everything sums to 155. I should put IP here, even though it's optional, depending on you. Because sometimes your profits could also cover your IP. So depending on your strategy, your overall business strategy. All right, so everything, the cost is 155 and the markup is 50%. Let's do, okay, let's leave it. So the dynamic, what do you want? Usually percentage makes it more methodological rather. So if you want 30% of the overall cost price, just put it there and this is the price you give the client. Now without the 30%, this is the price with your profit. So this is cost based. Now the dynamic thing, oh, I want 25% extra because we have to hire more consultants to work on this project, or we have to outsource some projects so that we can focus on this project. Then that's where the dynamic pricing comes in. So I put express, like you want it fast. So imagine the president calls you, there's a presentation, you need to get this done, just focus on this project, this, that, and that is where this comes in. All right, so that is all. I will touch this. However, before that, if you want, I also have a video now. You can determine your hourly rates. So if you are struggling to know how much you charge per hour, check the description. I'll put a link in the description. So for penetration pricing, I don't have a tab for that. I don't have a sheet for that. So penetration pricing is essentially you set a low price so that you can gain a market share. Now, penetration strategy or penetration pricing strategy is not equal to low pricing. So you are not pricing your service low. You're only trying to penetrate. After some time, you show it up. And if you want me to create a video dedicated to discussing this, I will use this in the past. Because another key thing is the customer lifetime value, LTV. Sometimes you factor your CAC, that's a customer acquisition cost, for the penetration. Then you check with the lifetime value. I'll leave the unit economics. So basically, you set your price low. So for instance, let's say for the cost base, you have a sum at 200k. You could decide to let go, even though the market value could be around 400k. You could decide to let go of the profit just to penetrate. You could put it at, so if your agency or business profit is 100%, you could decide to put it at 20%. So 20% now will give you significantly lesser, 240k, or let's say 50%, let's say 40%. Okay, that's 280k, less than 300 for a service that is worth 400k. So the essence is to penetrate. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just trying to explain that the essence of it is to penetrate the market. And once you get there, of course, checking your customers' lifetime value, you gain a good market share that you can significantly increase your price because you already achieve what you want to achieve. Disclaimer on penetration pricing strategy. Using it for service-based business might not really go well, except you are very intentional and creative around how you use it. You have a very solid strategy because there's the negative side of the client, the product, the services being offered to perceive the service as as low price. So imagine a service you charge 1 million for, you offer to a client at 800K or thereabout, and that is your penetration approach. And the client thinks, so this is the worth 800K. So whenever the client wants to refer someone else, the perception could transfer that, oh, meet XYZ person or XYZ agency, they charge 800K. So you don't want to deal with that. So usually, people that use it in service-based business, they intend to upsell, and you just have to find a creative way around it. If you want me to create, so there's a way we were able to creatively find a way around this at our agency. That yeah, if you want me to create a different video on that, I will do that. I also should mention that so one of the challenge with this is because you shouldn't mix the penetration approach with low pricing approach, because if you get the wrong client that comes with a low pricing mindset, when the referral comes, they definitely will refer people with the same low pricing mindset. So you really want to do with that. So one of the things we also do is whenever we offer discounts, so this is just by the way, whenever we offer discounts, we don't send an invoice and put the price there. We send an invoice, put the full price. This service costs 5 naira. Discount is 1 naira. Sorry, 2 naira. What you pay is 3 naira. VAT is this. So that is what we do, so that so as to ensure that the client understand that this is what we charge. You are getting the discount, fine, but the discounted price is not the value of the service. This is what we charge. This is what you pay, and this thing is because of the discount. So that next time, if we remove the discounts, you don't do back and forth on explaining why their price is that way. So if you want me to create a video to explain how we play around penetration strategy or what you can explore, ensure to leave a comment in the comment section, and let me know if you find this video helpful. Please share. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already done that. I'm sorry if I speak a little bit too fast. I just want to keep the video short, and I hope you get the content. If you find this YouTube the video helpful, do wait to like the video, subscribe to my channel, share with other people, and stay connected for more amazing content like this. So I'm going to be documenting my journey so far, 10 years plus, and I'm now retired and I want to give back prior to creating more content. So you should expect to see content around brand design, especially the business path, marketing, business growth, specifically growth marketing and strategy, then a bit of finance. You should expect to see that.